Hello, hello. Good evening. How are you doing?
Hello, teacher.
How are you?
I am fine. And you?
Okay, I'm fine. Great, thanks. Well, the other people hasn't arrived, so it's just gonna be you and me, okay? No worries, no problem, right?
Yes, teacher, no problem.
Okay, very good, Danny. So, well, I can see that you have microphone today, so it's much better excited. We are going to need it. Ready? So today we're going to have our second class of the week, number 7. Yesterday we were talking a little bit about the feelings and the opinions and how to give them, right? How to give feelings and opinions, how to express them. Like talking about the thing that I hate the most, or what I don't like, or what it makes me infuriated, or what it's really infuriating for me, or whatever, different ways. And today we're going to continue talking a little bit about that, but from a different perspective. We always continue with the same topic, but we use other different like vocabulary, other different language in order to talk about it. Ready? Today we're going to start answering these two questions. Ready? The question number one and the question number two. Ready? So the first question is like, okay, according to this, or like depending on these aspects, would you cut off your relationship with someone because of these things? Like, for example, I don't know, you have a friend or a couple, and would you cut off, like, end the relationship with the person due to this? Or do you think there are things that you can fix, like that you can tolerate? Or are things that are breaking deal breakers? When I say deal breaker, deal breaker is a situation which is so big, or it's so complicated, or it's so uncomfortable that it causes the relationship to break. Hmm? So in that case, for example, for me, something that it's a deal breaker might be the irresponsibility. Ready? Because if the person is unpunctual, well, it bothers me, but it's not so big deal, right? But the responsibility for me, it's a deal break. Hmm? What about you, Danny? What do you think? Would you cut off the relationship for some of these aspects, and which ones?
I think one thing when I cut off the relation is when people is irresponsibility.
Irresponsible, in that case, the adjective, it's not with ID, but it's like irresponsible, similar to Spanish, irresponsible, right? Muy bien, very good. So Dalila says, maybe one thing why I would answer, or I would finish the relationship with one person, it's when the person is irresponsible. Very good, using the double relative clause. No, Christian, in this case, my friend, we're talking about like which of these aspects would be a deal breaker for you. Deal breaker, I was explaining to Daniela, it's like an action or a situation that it's so complicated or it's so uncomfortable that it causes the relationship to end. Can be a romantic relationship like boyfriend or girlfriend, or just like a friendship. For example, even if my friends were irresponsible, I would break up with them, or I would break up the relationship, not only with a girlfriend, but also with a friend. If my friends were very irresponsible, I would break up, or I would cut off the relationship with them. Which of these aspects are deal breakers for you, Chris? And bueno, if it's one of them, or maybe none of them.
Teacher Bird, what is the sentence?
No, in that case, it's free. You can use it, the one that we used yesterday. Like, for
Ah,
example, what I like, it's an example, no? One of the sentences that we used yesterday was with double. What I can tolerate, what I can tolerate is when, for example, Daniela said, the thing that why I would break up my relationship with a person is when people are irresponsible. Could be. Or you could say, no, teacher, what I can tolerate is when people are, sorry, people are like, how do you say that? Irreverent. Maybe you don't like the people like it's irreverent. So you said, teacher, what I can tolerate is when the people are irreverent. But that's only a possibility. You can say, no, teacher, for me, the self-sufficiency, it's a deal breaker. Something more simple, as you prefer to answer.
But you have to be one of these.
Yeah, well, in that case, I mentioned these five, but if you have a different one, great, no problem. Go ahead.
Mm, a deal breaker for me is someone who is a liar.
Okay, good, very good. So when the people lie, it's a deal breaker for Christian. Excellent. And Yesid, my friend, which is a deal breaker for you? Any of these aspects, any of these behaviors, or a different one? Yesid, can you listen to me, my friend?
Yes, teacher.
Good.
Eh, ¿Cómo se dice? I should to accept the recording session.
Ah, okay.
Um, Respect behavior. What I hate most is, ¿cómo se diría? Procrastinar. Procrastination.
Okay, good, very good. Yes. Or, yes.
When I need to concentrate.
Okay. Ah, but it's about yourself. But I was thinking like, but the question was
Yes.
this one, like, would you finish the relationship with a person like you say, no, ya, usted y yo nunca más, never again. Maybe a friend or a girlfriend or something
Oh,
because of any of these aspects?
entonces, what I hate people when procrastination.
Yeah.
eh,
So in that case, you could say
because
what I hate the most. You could say what I hate the most is when people. And
okay,
the
wait, sorry.
procrastination es procrastinación, but in that case, we're going to use the action, la acción que es procrastinar. In that case, when people procrastinate, no procrastination, sino procrastinate porque es la acción. Good?
Okay, good.
Excellent.
Next
Very
teacher.
good. Good. Well, and guys, in this case, which of these behaviors would you consider necessary to ask people to change? You say like, okay, I can tolerate it, but it's necessary. I mean, it's not a deal breaker, but it's necessary that you change it. In my case, the procrastination is one, and the impunctuality is another. What about you? What are the behaviors that you consider necessary to change? What do you?
Teacher,
Uh-huh.
for me, the unpunctuality.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's necessary to change it. Very good, Chris. Excellent. What about Danny? What do you think? Which is necessary from the people to change?
One thing that I need to change is impunctuality.
Yourself or the other people?
Yourself, myself.
Oh, good. Okay, very good. So one thing that I need to change, also it's important for you, it's impunctuality. Might be, good, excellent. Jesse, what about you, my friend? Which considered from that it's necessary from to change from people?
I consider um, the people should change punctuality and procrastination.
Good, very good. The same as me, right? So in that case, for example, you can complement it saying like what I consider necessary to change is unpunctuality and procrastination. For example, if you want to use the sentences that we used yesterday, right? Well, very good. So it's great. But in that case, guys, we're going to focus our attention today in this modal verb, the modal verb would. Ready? So the first question was, would you cut off the relationship with someone due to these aspects? And the second one is, which of them would you consider necessary to ask people to change? What is the use of would? Well, we have different uses for would, no? The first use that it comes to mind is to talk about improbable things or unlikely things. Ready? You know that unlikely, it's similar to improbable. Improbable, right? It's something that it's possible, but it's a far possibility, like a remote possibility. So when we talk about would, that's what we come to that it comes to our mind, right? Taking into account that, I am going to ask you another question. Guys, what would you like to change from your life? It might be in the past or it might be in the present, right? For example, from the present, I wouldn't like to change anything. My present, it's fine. Yes. But from the past, I would like to change that I didn't drink so much. I didn't drink so much. And also, I made more sport, or I practiced, or I exercised more. I exercised more from the past, right? What about you guys? Would you like to change something of your life from the past or from the present? Anything? Think on something that you wish you could change. What do you think? Something similar, something simple, not too complicated. Don't worry about the grammar. Just tell me the wish.
In the past,
Mhm.
maybe I should have stayed in Russia.
Good. I should have stayed in Russia. Muy bien, very good. That's something from the past. It's something that she would like to change, but from the past. Muy bien, Danny. Thank you so much. What about the other guys? Any wishes? No wishes?
In the past,
Mhm.
teacher, I would like to have finished my university, ¿cómo se dice? My university degree.
Yeah. Well, depending. If it's like pregrado, my
Carrera.
undergraduate.
Sí, ok, ok. Entonces,
Mhm.
I would like to have graduated more, ¿cómo se dice? More younger age.
Younger. Very good. Excellent. Okay, so graduated. Graduated younger. Okay, good. Excellent. Right. Listo, guys. And Chris, do you have another wish in the past, in the present, something that you would like to change now?
Teacher, I would like to have been more responsible, maybe
Before.
before the past.
Very good. Being more responsible. I think that I'm not going to ask any more questions to Christian because his throat is so
Or
delicate, right?
I have no voice. Or maybe have thought more about my future.
Okay, very good. Thought more about the future, like prepare more about the future. Ready? Grace, if you want, you can answer on the chat for today. No problems. I can notice that you have no voice, but okay, good. So in that case, well, your wishes are about the past, you know? So you wish like you have different things that you would like to change, but all of them are from the past. Now we can also would like things from the present, maybe. Probably a person we would like to have more time, probably more money. I don't know. Probably, I don't know, live with another person. No, teacher, in this moment, I would like to change with another person, with my co-parents, or with my girlfriend, or with my boyfriend, whatever, live with another person, or live in another place, things about the person. So, of course, all of this it's related to our feelings, because of course, if you said, teacher, you know what, I would like to have more time. Why? Because the thing that I don't like is when I have to work a lot of time and I don't have time to share with my family, for example. No, but things like in this case, these are our wishes. Yes. When we have our wishes, well, we can, what we talk about are dreams, basically. Yes. So we're going to have a lot of different possible words, no? So we have possible wishes. So, for example, we have built a mansion, I say different impossible things. Get a new look, get an autograph for a celebrity, be a multimillionaire, purchase a luxurious car, buy your own different things that we wish. Some of them are possible, others are really impossible, but it's just an unlikely wish, right? In this case, we're going to have two possibilities: wishes about the past and wishes about the present. Ready? Now, talking about the wishes about the present. Yes, sorry, about the present. We already mentioned that before, and we said that when we have wishes about the present, we have to use unreal English. Unreal English, it's when we describe something that it's unlikely to happen, but in the present. Yes. And we said that we have different possibilities using the simple past. So it's a little bit confusing, but when we have wishes about the past, sorry, about the present, wishes about present, yes, we are going to have two possibilities. The first one, it's to use the modal verbs, could or would. You know how it's done, right? So I would like to la la la. So that's it. Yeah, would, could, and the verb infinitive, it's going to be wishes about the present. Yes. Claro, of course, we have the expressions at the beginning, if only, si tan solo, or I wish, and then the other subject. Ready? For example, no sé, I wish, in the present, I wish I could have more time. It was one of the wishes that we mentioned before. Oh, teacher, I wish, maybe the wish is not about me. I wish my mom, sorry, my mom would have her own house. Sorry, her own house. That she didn't have to pay for rent. No, so in that case, it's not a wish for me, it's a wish for my mom, but I can also include it with would. ¿Cierto? Eso ya lo habíamos visto. O there is another possibility to use the simple past. Ahora, profe, ¿cómo así? ¿Usamos el simple past para hablar del presente? Sí. Cuando hablamos de wishes. Ready? So, for example, I can say, I wish she, o sea, my mom, had her own house. I said, I wish she had. When I said I wish, and then the verb it's in past, the wish is not about the past, it's about the present. But it's something unlikely, something improbable. So that's why we use the simple past, because it's something like it's not very likely to happen. It's a possibility, but it's a remote possibility. Ready? Or I can do it using would or using could. Sorry, using could or using would. Like in this case, I wish I could have, or I wish I would have, or she would have, right? With other verbs, no? For example, in that case, I wish this person, no, it's wishing. I wish I would have more money. I wish I had a lot of money, for example, no? All of the three options are possible and they are correct. But their wishes about the present, okay? And we have the expression if only, that it means si tan solo. So we can have yo deseo o tal persona desea o if only, que significa si tan solo. Ready? And then the rest is the same. For example, if only, supposing that I have a wish in the present to change my job. If only I could change my job. It's not real. I am actually really happy here, but if only I could change my job. There we have the expression if only, that it's similar to I wish, and then could change. So we have could and the verb infinitive. No siempre tiene que ser have, puede ser cualquier verbo, ¿cierto? O ese mismo verbo en pasado para describir un deseo en el presente. ¿Listo? Ready? So, or for example, how would you do it without the modal verbs? Sin el modal, pues I wish I changed my job, ¿cierto? Pero usando la expresión if only o I wish. Eso lo que tiene que ver deseos en el presente, ¿cierto? Ya lo habíamos visto, no problem. Ahora, if I am talking about wishes in the past, what happened? Si para hablar de deseos sobre el presente usaba el pasado, entonces para hablar de pasado, de deseos irreales en el pasado, ¿qué voy a usar? Bueno, we're going to see. Wishes about past. In this case, what we have to use is the past perfect. As you can see, it's had and the verb in past participle. Or the other possibility is to use the modal verb could or would and have and then the verb in past participle. Así como Daniela dijo, I should have, ta, ta, ta. Okay, that's something similar, but in that case, when I say I wish, I have only the possibility to use could have or would have, right? For example, somebody said, me desearía haberme graduado más joven. Perfect, no problem. You said, I wish si lo quiero hacer con la primera opción, I wish I had graduated. I had graduated younger, ¿cierto? No, teacher, pero sí me gusta más usar los modal verbs. Perfect, no problem. You know what? I wish I would have, I would have graduated younger. Igual. ¿Listo? So, in that case, I have possibility number one, past perfect, had, y el verbo en past participle, o possibility number two, con modal verb, puede ser could o would, have, and then the verb in past participle, o sea, modales en el pasado. Cualquiera de las dos está bien. Igual, I can use the expression if only, o I can use the expression I wish I, o I wish, ta, ta, ta. For example, in my case, yo desearía no haber estado enfermo hace 2 meses. Estuve súper mal, right? Hace 2 meses, no, hace 2 semanas, sorry, right? Oh, 3 weeks. So in that case, I said, I wish and then I have possibilities. Puedo usar past perfect o puedo usar modal verbs, ¿cierto? Entonces, en este caso voy a decir, desearía no haber estado, right? So, I wish I wouldn't, sorry, no, this is not the expression. This is not the spelling. Ahora sí, I wouldn't have been sick, ¿cierto? I wish I wouldn't have been sick, porque yo ya me enfermé, ya me pasó, desearía no haber estado enfermo en el pasado, ¿cierto? Pero si Cristian que está enfermo en este momento, quisiera decir como, uy, no, desearía no estar enfermo, ¿cierto? It's gonna be different. He's gonna say, I wish I wouldn't be sick. Look at the difference. This one it's wouldn't be, would and the verb infinitive. That's it. This one it's not. It's just wouldn't have been and then wouldn't have and then the verb in past participle. ¿Cierto? Would have and then the verb in past participle. Okay? So careful. The wish is about the present. You use or could or would or simple past. Easy. The wish is about the past. You use could have, would have, or the past perfect. Yes? For example, somebody said, profe, debí haberme quedado en australiano, en Rusia, ¿cierto? Pues I said, en este caso, not me. I'm gonna say Daniela, she, ¿cierto? Daniela wishes. Claro, of course, tercera persona porque es Daniela, right? Daniela wishes she had stayed in Russia, ¿cierto? Or, for example, Daniela wishes she would have stayed in Russia or she could have stayed in Russia, right? So we have three possibilities depending if it's wishes about the present or wishes about the past. ¿Listo? Guys, big, big, big asterisk. Un asterisco muy grande, un paréntesis, right? Something really important. When we are going to use here the simple past, for wishes about the present, and it's about the verb to be. Yes. In this case, we're going to use the conjugation were for all the pronouns, not was, right? It's possible that I have listened, es muy probable que alguna vez hayan escuchado I wish I was. I wish I was. Claro, porque was es el pasado del verb to be, ¿cierto? I wish I was taller, por ejemplo. Desearía ser más alto. In use, o sea, en cuanto a uso, sí, la gente lo usa así, muchas personas lo usan así, but it's not correct. The correct form is using were. Cuando hablo de wishes y el verbo es to be. Es decir, I wish I were, I wish she were, I wish we were, con todos los pronombres. ¿Listo? For example, I wish my bike were faster. Normalmente, my bike, que es it, debería ir conjugada con was, ¿cierto? Pero cuando hablo de wishes, no, porque es unreal. En ese caso, were es el verb to be que voy a usar con todos los pronombres, sin importar si es I, you, he, she. ¿Listo? Únicamente porque es irreal. O sea, el was sigue funcionando normal cuando hablo del simple past normal, pero en este caso, cuando es wishes, unreal things, es were con todos los pronombres. ¿Listo? ¿Ready? Guys, hasta ahí, ¿cómo van con los wishes? Bien, fine, no problem.
It's clear, teacher.
Excelente, muy bien.
Good teacher.
Listo, very good, excellent. So, guys, in this case, I'm going to repeat the question, but this time, of course, I expect you to answer it with a different structure, no? In my case, I am going to repeat my wish, and I'm going to say that if only, if only I hadn't drunk so much. Esta expresión if only significa si tan solo. La puedo dejar ahí y el resto es implícito, significa que es como muy obvio, pero la puedo complementar también. For example, if only I hadn't drunk so much, I wouldn't have wasted so much money. So much money. ¿Yes? Cuando incluyo if only, se espera que se incluya una consecuencia de ese deseo, ¿cierto? ¿Qué hubiese pasado? ¿Ok? Pero también puedo dejarla así. If only I hadn't drunk so much. That's it, right? What about you guys? Pueden usar el mismo deseo de antes, pueden cambiarlo por uno en el presente, como quieran, right? So, what would you like to change from your life?
If only I couldn't have returned to Russia, I would have a better job. Better job.
Good. If only I could have returned to Russia. Yes, I could have or I would have a better job. Muy bien, very good, Daniela. Excellent. What about you guys? I think Christian answered in the chat. It says, I wish have thought more about the future so I could be better now. Of course. Now, in that case, I wish it's the first part, but you have to repeat the subject. So I wish I had thought in the past. Right? Recuerda que es pasado perfecto, es had y el verbo en past participle, right? So I wish I had thought more about the future, so now I could be better. Perfecto, Christian. Excellent. And my friend Jessit,
I wish I had traveled more when I could.
that's a common regret. Yes, that's something that people say a lot. I wish I could. No, wait, I had traveled. Yes,
I had traveled. more when I could.
More
Um,
when I could. Very good, excellent. So,
if only I had made better the decisions.
mm, that's the most common one. If only I had made better decisions, very good. Si tan solo hubiera tomado mejores decisiones. La consecuencia es implícita, ¿cierto? Puede decir, si tan solo hubiera tomado mejores decisiones. Hay muchas cosas que pueden haber cambiado, pero el deseo es este, ¿cierto? I wish I had made better decisions. O if only I had made better decisions. ¿Listo? Entonces you have both possibilities. Claro, of course, you can also mention about the present and say like, okay, yes, of course, I wish I could travel, travel back to Russia, ¿cierto? Right? Like in this moment, Daniela still wants it, so she wishes she could travel, not could have, could travel back to Russia, but she's in this moment right now, right? Or I don't know, maybe for example, Christian can say like, you know what? If only I had a better job, so if only I had a better job, then he would be better now, right? So something like that. Talking about the present, no? Like, because it's a wish that maybe they still have, right? Or for example, like Jessit might say, like, okay, I wish I had more time to travel, for example. Yes, like that's the wish now, right? So you can express wishes with in both cases with using um, simple past or the modal verbs could and would, or past perfect and would have or could have in order to use it about the past. ¿Listo? So that's the idea here. I think you have no questions so far. Yes? So no problem. Then in this case, this is kind of like a second conditional, no? Because we said if I have the opportunity to travel, I would go to blah, blah, blah. Yes? But the connector if, as I have told you before many times, it's not the only possibility. We can express this kind of ideas and we can give them like, how can I say that, like a different context or a different intention, changing the connector of the ideas. Normally we use if, right? But it's not the only possibility. So we're going to have other possibilities here. That's aquí está, hay un error. It's not if only, only if. I made a mistake there, sorry. Only if, even if, and unless. Los tres ya los hemos visto, ¿cierto? Ya sabemos qué son los tres. No problem. What is the meaning of if only? Do you remember? Could you remind me? What is the meaning of if only?
Solo sí.
Solo si. Very good. Yes, so in solo si. Even if, what's the meaning of even if? What is it? Sorry, Danny, again.
Incluso sí,
Incluso si, muy bien. And unless, what's the meaning of unless?
a menos que.
A menos que, muy bien, very good. So in that case, these kind of connectors are going to help me to express, well, different kind of conditions, whether they are possible or not possible or just a far possibility. In this case, I am talking about far possibilities because that's the idea of the week. Far wishes that we could change, some things that we could change about our life. But this one can also work with the first conditional. It means with real possibilities. Ready? So in that case, remember that the second conditional is with would on one side and the past simple on the other side. Yes, on the condition it's simple past, and on the consequence is with would, right? But it can change. It's only like an example because we were talking about unreal possibilities, but these connectors can work with any kind of conditional, first conditional, second conditional, third condition. No problem, right? So in this case, guys, you mentioned that you would like to have, or there are different wishes that you have, right? For example, I'm going to ask you, in what case would you leave your family behind? One of the parts of the week was talking about moral dilemmas, you know? This is kind of a moral dilemma because it's like, okay, would you leave your family behind? Yes, no, depends. If you say yes, you said yes, I would leave my family behind. But for most of the people, these can have certain conditions. Not in all the cases they would leave the family behind. For example, in my case, yes, I would leave, no, sorry, I wouldn't. To be honest, I wouldn't. So I have had many opportunities and I don't like it. So I wouldn't, I wouldn't have, I wouldn't leave, sorry, I wouldn't leave them behind. Yes, I wouldn't leave them behind, even if the salary is really good. Sorry, even if the salary were, it's in simple past, no? Were really good. So in that case, independent, independent if the salary is good or not good, I wouldn't leave them behind, right? But that's me. Maybe in your cases, that would be different. So try to answer this question, but don't use only if. I mean, don't use solo if, but you can use only if for talking about exclusive, right? Even if for talking about independent things, or unless for talking about exceptions. Ready? Try to answer in what case would you leave your family behind?
I wouldn't leave them behind, even if I live in another country.
But if you live in another country, I think that, well, the idea is like, if you live in another country, would you take them with you?
Yes.
But what about if it's not possible? If they say, no, no, it's only you, no family.
Mm.
Hmm. So, for example, I don't know, occurs to me that Dalai Lama said, you know what, teacher, I would leave them behind, sorry. I would leave them behind only if, only if I went to which one do you like more, St. Petersburg or Moscow? Which of the two cities do you prefer?
Moscow.
Good. So I would leave them behind only if, in the only situation that you would leave them behind is if you went to Moscow. How do you spell Moscow? Like that, right? So in that case, that would be the only situation. But I mean, it's an example, probably not, but that's the example as it is, no? Muy bien. Christian answering the chat. I would never leave my family behind unless I had no option. Okay, good. So he wouldn't leave them behind unless he had no option. Like, for example, like, I don't know, like an emergency or, exiliation or something like that, I suppose, right? Muy bien, Chris. And Jessit,
I couldn't do it unless it was necessary. Uh,
unless it were, because remember that in this case, were for all the pronouns, para todos los pronombres.
Were, yes, it were necessary.
Muy bien, unless it were necessary. Ready? And of course, in that case, you answer in second conditional and in past because the question was in the past, right? Would you leave them? Because it's a unreal possibility. But I can ask you other different kind of question, which is a little bit more possible, and probably you would have to use other different kind of conditional, right? So, like, I don't know. I don't know, let me just think about it. Will you donate? Will you donate, no, let's say, would you donate food for vulnerable people? Vulnerable people or people in vulnerable conditions, right? So it's something that it could happen, especially now that it's Christmas. Something that probably it could happen. But maybe you don't say an strict yes, but you have certain conditions. Yeah. So what would you tell me? Would you like without conditions, or would you have some conditions to donate food? do you think?
I will donate food for vulnerable people unless I don't have possibilities. I didn't
Okay.
have.
In that case, you can use I would and didn't if it's something like it sounds like improbable. But the question was with will, because it's something that it can happen, right? So you said, I will, I will donate, ¿cierto? Unless I don't have, because that is a real possibility. So we use will in one condition and present simple in the other. In this case, it's would and simple past. But as we are using will, the other one is in simple present because it's first conditional, right? So I will donate food or whatever unless I don't have a resources or something like that. No, that's a possibility. Muy bien, Danny. What about Jessid, my friend? What can you tell me?
Mm, it's a good question. I would donate food even if I have a little to give
Even
to
if I have
help,
a little what, right?
a little to give, como dar,
Ah,
to
okay. Even if I had a little to give. Bueno, you can use would, and then in the other one you would say if even if I had, because it's simple past, it's a remote idea. But if you use even
even
if
if I
I
had
don't have,
little,
or even if I have, it's with will. So I will donate even if I have little to give. Muy bien, very good, Jessica. That's right. Okay, and Christian answers in the chat. He says, I will do it only if I had the possibility, only if I have the possibility. ¿Listo? Es el cuando uso el pasado es porque en el primero usé would. ¿Listo? Porque es el segundo condicional. Right? Pero si uso will es porque sí va a pasar. Es algo que es mucho más probable. Por lo tanto, la otra cláusula es con presente. ¿Listo? Entonces, I will do it only if I have the possibility. ¿Listo, guys? Entonces, estos conectores, estos reemplazos o, sí, digamos que son como complementos de if, ¿right? Pueden usarse sí con el segundo condicional como veníamos haciéndolo, pero también con otros, con el primero, con el tercero, no pro. ¿Listo, guys? ¿Preguntas acerca de estos reemplazos o it's fine? Like the other possibilities. Clear, no clear, good?
it's clear, teacher.
Wonderful,
Tengo
very
una
good.
pregunta.
Chris, question?
En ese caso, pues en mi oración, que yo puse only if I had, lo voy a escribir mejor.
Sí, pero sí, sí, my friend. No olvides tomar mucha agüita, mantenerte súper, súper hidratado. No se puede had en caso de querer decir si tuviera. Sí, pero entonces el will no iría porque el will es una posibilidad muy cercana. Entonces en ese caso es si tuviera, o sea, si tuviera la posibilidad, haría tal cosa, ¿cierto? El haría lo hace el would, ¿good? Pero si tengo la posibilidad, haré tal cosa, eso es presente y will. ¿Listo? Entonces, claro, si quieres decir si tuviera, sí tendría que ser con had, pero la primera parte tendría que ser con would. ¿Listo? ¿Ready? Esa es la diferencia. Por eso es que con doble condicionales tengo dos pedacitos. La primera cláusula, que es la condición, puede ir en pasado o en presente, dependiendo si es una cláusula posible o improbable. Y la segunda parte, si es posible, o sea, con presente simple, va a ir con will. Y la segunda parte, cuando uso pasado simple, que es algo improbable, va a ir con would. ¿Listo, Chris? Excelente. Muy bien. Bueno, guys, for finishing today, we're going to have a simple question, no, a simple image here. It's like, very straightforward. We are going to have 5 questions. I am going to read all of them. You just have to answer one, okay? I would like you to choose one answer and one question and answer it. Ready? Question number one, it says, what would it take? What would it take significa que se necesita. Yes, what would it take for you to commit a crime? Remember, moral dilemmas. Ready? What would it take for you to take a crime? ¿Qué se necesita para que cometas un crimen? Number two, what would it take for you to leave your current life behind? Similar to the one that we did before, not leave the family behind, right? Number three, what would you do only if you were broken? Broken, it means like en bancarrota, quebrado, right? So what would you do only if you were broken? Right? Something that you would do only in the only situation that you were broken, that you wouldn't do in any other situation, but except if you were broken. And number four, it says, what is something that you do even if you don't want it, only for social pressure? Take into account this one, it's simple present and simple present because it's something like a real thing, right? It's simple present in both ways because it's like zero conditional. For example, I, I don't know, let's say I dance even if I don't like it, right? It means I dance every time. I don't like it, but I do it for a social pressure, right? But in that case, simple past in both ways, yes? And question number five, what would you never do unless it were an emergency? Something that you will never do except if it were an emergency. Like, I don't know, escape or kill somebody or rob somebody. I don't know. That's I'm going to leave it for you. Ready? So choose one of the answer of the questions and please answer it, of course, using one of the connectors. Only if, even if, and unless. Choose one of the possibilities. Give me your best answer.
Teacher, we must any chose any question
Yes,
or
you have to choose one question, just one, and answer it.
okay, okay.
Mhm. Doesn't matter which one. If you want one, number two, number three, doesn't matter. If it's repeated, no problem. Everybody has a different answer, nevertheless. Okay, guys, do you have it? You have your example, your answer?
Teacher, um, I chose three question.
Okay, okay. Question number three.
Um, my answer is I would ask for help, even if it felt uncomfortable.
Okay.
Uh,
I would ask for help
only if I have another choice.
even if it felt uncomfortable, you said?
Uncomfortable.
And then the next part, well, you said I would ask for help even if it felt uncomfortable. Okay. And you said everything?
Only if I have another option.
I
Solo
don't
si
get
me
it.
da como otra opción.
¿Solo si tuvieras o solo si no tuvieras?
Solo si tuviera. Ah, si no tuviera, sí.
Okay, good. So I would ask for help even if it felt uncomfortable, only if I didn't have another option. Yes. Oh.
Ok, ok.
Claro que sí. Muy bien. Very good, Jesse. So in that case, you use both connectors. Perfectly fine. Good. Excellent. Danny, what about you, my dear?
The question number three. Sí.
Okay.
I could start over even if I were broken.
I could start over even if, only if, even if.
Even if.
Okay, okay, very good. So you're saying that it doesn't matter that I am broken, I could start over. Huh? That's the way. Okay, muy bien, Danny. Thanks a lot. And Chris, do you have any answer there for me in the chat? In? I'm still thinking. Okay, good. Well, don't worry. I'm going to give you some. So, guys, these questions are very, very important. Not this specifically these questions, but this type of questions are going to be similar to the ones that they ask me in an interview. For example, a job interview, it's going to have this kind of questions, not about so moral dilemmas, but like what would you do in this case, right? Depends on the job. For example, Daniela is an economist, so probably they're going to ask her like, okay, what would you do in case you saw a crime or a tax forge, like a fraud? So Daniela can say, for example, that, I will or I would report it even if it were a friend, for example, So those kind of questions are the ones that are going to be presented in an interview. And the idea is that you can use these kind of connectors to like be more specific about your answers. Ready? Like said, yes, but with these conditions, right? Even if this happens, only if the other thing happens, unless the other things happen or didn't happen, right? So these questions are good for you to practice on your mind, right? Even if you answer just number three, there are other four questions that you can ask yourself and try to practice before sleeping, for example, or while you are taking a shower. You said, well, what would it take for me to commit a crime? So you said, like, for example, I don't know, I would only commit a crime. Bueno, depending the crime, but I would only commit a crime if it were a no, if I didn't have no option, no. So that's it. Similar to what Jesse said. Only if I didn't have another choice or something like that. No. Bueno, Christian answered, I would never steal. I will never steal only if it were extremely and incredibly necessary. Okay. Oh, you could say, I will never steal. No, wait, I would steal only if, so you will never steal, but, or you could say, I will never steal unless it were extremely and incredibly necessary. ¿Ya? Es como nunca robaría excepto si tal cosa. O yo robaría solo si, right? Be careful in that case because that's like a difference between only if and unless, okay? So you can ask these questions to yourself and others that come to your mind in order to prepare. Yes, for example, Christian told me that he is getting ready for an interview. So these kind of questions are going to help you a lot because they help you to practice your possible answers and independently of the information, the structure of the sentence. I would do this only if ta ta ta. I wouldn't do that unless ta ta ta. Ready? No sé. I wouldn't start a office fight unless it were necessary or something like that. So these kind of questions, like about your morals, are going to be incredibly useful in order to practice for interviews, job interviews, psychological interviews, entrance applications, all of them are going to have these kind of questions. So they are really useful for that. Okay. Questions, guys, difficulties or problems on these questions and the connectors?
No, teacher.
No,
I
it's fine.
practice a lot.
Listo, muy bien, very good. Guys, tengo una información pequeñita, pero muy importante. ¿Listo? El día de hoy me avisaron que nos vamos a ir en grupitos a vacaciones colectivas. ¿Listo? Entonces, pues idealmente, inicialmente yo había pensado en darles las primeras semanas, del 30 al 4 y que esa semana no tuviéramos clase. ¿Listo? Pero aparte de esa, pues me mandaron a vacaciones también la semana del 23 al 28. ¿Listo? Entonces, esas 2 semanitas, pues estaríamos, digamos que ustedes pueden obviamente entrar a la plataforma, adelantarse las actividades y eso, pero pues no tendríamos clase, ¿vale? ¿Eso qué significa? La otra semana, que es del 2 al 7 de diciembre, estaríamos iniciando con el nivel avance, no mentiras, con la semana 8 y la semana del nueve de diciembre, estaríamos iniciando con avanzado, la semana uno, ¿sí? La siguiente semana, que es del 16 al 21, estaríamos continuando con la semana 2 de avanzado y ahí paramos, ¿listo? Nos vamos a la semanita de vacaciones y cuando volvamos el 4 de enero, continuamos con el resto de las semanas que nos quedarían pendientes para finalizar con avanzado. ¿Listo, guys? Ready? Is that good?
Hear it,
Mm,
teacher.
Great.
Okay,
Listo.
teacher.
Perfecto. Entonces, pues para que lo tengan en cuenta, digo, yo se los voy a recordar, no problem, pero pues para que lo tengan en cuenta que van a tener ahí como 2 semanitas de descanso, pues de clases. ¿Listo? Para que las aprovechen, descansen del inglés un ratito, pronto practiquen en su mente y toda la cosa. ¿Listo, guys? Entonces, por esta semana sería todo. Nos vemos la otra semanita. La otra semanita la clase es el miércoles, o sea, de hoy en 8 es una sola clase, la última clase de intermedio 2. ¿Listo? Entonces es de hoy en 8 el miércoles. ¿Vale? Guys, have a good night, sleep tight, have a good weekend, and thank you for the participation.
Thanks, teacher. Have
Thank
a
you,
good
teacher.
night.
Bye.
Thank you, teacher. Goodbye.
Goodbye, goodbye.
Take care.
Okay, you too. Get better soon, Chris.
Thank you, teacher. Bye.
Bye, bye.